Hey everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In this particular video, we'll be looking into the type 1 and type 2 errors in inferential statistics. This is a part of applied data science course. So, without further delay, let's start. So, first, we'll have a quick overview of hypothesis testing, which we already have covered in the previous video. So, basically, it is a statistical method which is used to make decisions about a population parameter based on the sample data. So you can simply have some comparison between your sample mean and your population mean, where we already have seen that in the previous video, right? How we could come to a decision whether the sample mean and the population mean are actually same or whether they are significantly different. So in short, there are two hypotheses: null hypothesis, which we can denote by h0, and alternative hypothesis, which we could simply denote it by h1. So basically, null hypothesis is a statement of no effect or no difference. So basically, whatever point you have, like for example, let's say there is some difference between, let's say we have sample mean and a population mean. So performing certain tests, we come to a conclusion. So here in this particular scenario, in both the cases, you have no effect or no difference, like assumed to be true initially, what we test against. So initially we could simply say that null hypothesis means whatever statement or whatever sentence you have put forth, that is true, you know, that there is no effect in it, there is no change in it. So initially it is assumed to be true, and this is something which we fight against with just to check whether it actually is correct or not. Okay, an alternative hypothesis h1 is nothing but a statement that contradicts the null hypothesis. So let's say this particular statement says there is an increase in marks after training given to the students. So your alternative hypothesis would be like there is no significant increase in marks after the training. So these two are exactly opposite of each other. Now decision is based on the test statistics, so calculated value from the sample, the significance level, this particular alpha value, which is actually decided by the domain expert. This predefined threshold is one of the factor which influences the decision, and third is the critical region or the p value, basically the decision boundaries which we get from the graph. So based on three factors we decide whether the null hypothesis should be rejected or accepted. So I hope an overview of this is clear to you all. Now let's have a look at the errors in hypothesis testing. So this is what is the actual focus of attraction in this particular video. See, whenever we make a decision using the sample, uh, there is always a chance of error, right? We cannot always say that always our outcome will be correct only. Now, why this happens is because we are not using the full population, only a sample, right? If we would have used full population, then in that case we could say that okay, 100% we are accurate. Since since this is only a part of the population, this is only a sample, that is why errors could occur. Now, look at this particular slide carefully. There are two things happening. First, we have reality, okay, whether the null hypothesis H0 is true or false. Okay, so these two things are there, whether it is true or false. And there is a decision section over here on the right hand side. You can see these two things, okay, whether we reject the null hypothesis or we accept the null hypothesis. So these two together create four possible outcomes. You can see 1, 2, 3, and 4, right? Now we'll look at all the cases one by one. Okay, carefully listen to this particular thing because this is something which is very confusing, and you know, people with 10 plus years of experience also fail to understand this even if they did it before. Okay, so that is why carefully listen this. So let's say the first case is h0 is actually true in reality. Okay, your null hypothesis is true in reality. Now if we do not reject if we do not reject the null hypothesis, this particular case, if we do not reject the null hypothesis, that means if we are accepting this, in reality it is true and we are also agreeing with that fact, okay, then in that case it is our correct decision, obviously, right? If we are if we are saying that whatever condition is true in reality, and we are also saying after performing certain testing that it is true, then in that case we are actually good to go and we are doing a correct decision over here, right? But there is a case if we reject the null hypothesis. In reality, the null hypothesis was true and we are rejecting it. So this is called as a type 1 error, which is also known as false positive. In reality, it was true and we are saying it is false. This is type 1 error. It means that we rejected a true null hypothesis. Okay, and I hope this particular first case is clear. Second case, okay, where, where your H0 is false. That means your null hypothesis is in reality wrong. So in this particular case, there are again two cases: reject H0 or do not reject H0. Okay, so if we reject the null hypothesis, see, in reality null hypothesis was false and we are rejecting null hypothesis. That means outcome is correct. Correct we are on the correct track. We are doing a correct decision over here because null hypothesis was actually wrong and we are not accepting this null hypothesis. That means we are doing a correct decision. But if we are accepting this fact of wrong null hypothesis declaration, in that case we are doing a mistake. This is called as a type 2 error. Okay, where your actual value was wrong and you are accepting that wrong value. So this is a case where we fail to reject a false null hypothesis. Okay, in this case ideally we should reject that, because this is false, but we are accepting it in this case. That is why this is type 2 error. So I hope type 1 error and type 2 error, both of them are clear. Type 1 error is that error where we reject a true null hypothesis, and type 2 error is that error where we accept a false null hypothesis. We fail to reject a false null hypothesis. Now talking about the key insights, which is very important. There are exactly two types of errors: type 1 and type 2. Type 1 is rejecting a true H0 and type 2 is not rejecting a false H0. Both errors cannot be completely eliminated, but they could be controlled using proper test design and significance level. So in simple terms, if I would like to say, type 1 error is false alarm, type 2 error is a missed detection. That's it. I hope this is clear to you all. If it is still not clear, then I would recommend you to watch this particular part again, because I have tried my level best to make it crisp and clear. Now, let's move on to the next slide. Now, we'll see type 1 and type 2 error in detail. Okay, type 1 error is also called as alpha error. That level of significance that we discussed, that is the alpha. And it is also called as false positive. So by definition, type 1 error occurs when null hypothesis is rejected even though it is true, as already discussed. In simple terms, false positive detecting an effect that does not exist. Okay, I mean, in reality it does not exist and we are saying that yes, it is existing. So rejecting something true, like for example crying wolf, when there is no wolf. We are saying that the wolf is crying, but in reality the wolf is not existing there. Now, how it is denoted? It is denoted by alpha. It is a probability basically. Common values are 0.05 or 0.01. We already have seen these two things, right? In the previous video, this is called level of significance. While calculating the z-test and t-test, we use this. Okay, one more example. Let's say your null hypothesis was a new drug is not effective, and your decision is reject the null hypothesis. So in this particular case, your reality drug is actually not effective. So in this particular case, your decision and reality are contradicting, right? That is why it is type 1 error. Okay, we are wrongly concluding the drug works. So I hope this type 1 error is clear to you all. In statistical terms also, we have covered everything. Now let's move on to the type 2 error, which is called as beta error, which is also called as false negative case. So type 2 error occurs when null hypothesis H0 is not rejected even though it is false. So a false case is not rejected. We are accepting the false case. In simple words, false negative means missing an effect that actually exists. Okay, something which is existing, but you are saying that it doesn't exist. See, failing to reject something false, like for example, not seeing the wolf even when the wolf is present. Okay, so let's say in a room there is a wolf and we are saying that we are unable to see that wolf. So this is the case where type 2 error occurs. This error probability is denoted by beta, not predefined, depends on the test. Okay, whereas your type 1 error is predefined. Okay, now there is a concept of power of test which is equal to 1 minus beta. Okay, so what is this? This is basically probability of correctly rejecting a false null hypothesis. Let's take an example. Machine produces correct weight. This is your null hypothesis which is actually false. Okay, see, the reality is machine is faulty, and the decision that you make is that do not reject null hypothesis. That means you are going uh, going with the null hypothesis that machine is correct, but in reality machine is faulty. So here you are committing an error which is called as type 2 error. Here we are failed to detect the faulty machine. So I hope these two types of error are clear in terms of statistics. Now let's have a look at the key difference. Now this is just a summary. If you already have understood the both types of errors, then you can skip this particular slide. So this particular thing occurs, type 1 error occurs when your true null hypothesis is rejected. Type 2 error occurs when your false null hypothesis is not rejected. This type 1 error is also called as false positive. This is called as false negative. The symbol is alpha. Here type 2 error symbol is beta. Now the type 1 error is controlled by significance level. Type 2 error is controlled by sample size and power. Power we already have discussed. 1 minus beta is the value of that particular power. Type 1 error, decision error, overconfidence, and type 2 error section is based on underconfidence. So I hope the key difference is also clear to you all. Now let's take a numerical example to see how it actually works in reality, and this will make it very clear. So the problem statement is like, a company claims that the mean battery life of a product is 500 hours. Okay, so there is a product and its battery life, mean battery life is 500 hour, and the null hypothesis is that mu equals 500. Now since the company is claiming this particular thing, we could say that null hypothesis is 500, and we could set alternative hypothesis h1 as mu is not equals to 500. Significance level in this particular case, alpha value is 0.05, which is given by that particular company domain specific expert only. Now we'll compute both the cases. Okay, case 1 is type 1 error. So here in this particular case, the sample result leads to rejection of h0. Now over here, let's say whatever sample we have taken, that sample after testing, it leads to a decision wherein we have to reject the null hypothesis. But in reality, since mu equals 500 is true, this null hypothesis was true, and by our testing we got it as false. This is type 1 error we are committing. So this is how it occurs. So in this particular case, the probability of this particular error alpha is nothing but 0.05, which is the significance level. I already have told you significance level and your type 1 error is same. Okay, next, case 2 is type 2 error. Let's say the sample result leads to not rejecting h0, but in reality the mu is not equals to 500. Claim is false, right? In reality it is not 500 hours, but we are saying that it is 500 hours by after performing hypothesis testing. So the conclusion is that the company's claim is false, but we failed to detect it. That is why beta error has got occurred. So I hope by this particular use case it is clear now. Now let's have a look at the relationship between alpha and beta. So there is always a trade-off that exists between the type 1 and type 2 error. So over here you can see reducing the alpha value, that is type 1 error, makes test more conservative, okay, more focused, harder to reject the null hypothesis. If your alpha value is lesser, in value, then it is very tough to reject the null hypothesis, because always it would lead to a probable acceptance of null hypothesis. Now reducing the alpha value will generally leads to increase in the beta value, as both of them are inversely proportional. Fewer false positives, more false negatives. So in this particular case, if your alpha value is reduced, in if it is at a very minimum point, In that case, you will not get false positives, you will get few of them, but there would be more false negatives. So depending on your scenario, you could adjust the alpha value, whether to keep it large, whether to keep it small, whether you want more false positive, whether you can bear more false positives or more false negatives. Now, if we reduce the beta value, that is the type 2 error, then it requires large sample size, okay, better test design, higher statistical power, and the in and the increased precision. So these two are the cases, where they both are connected with each other. Now, key insights of all of this is that you cannot minimize both the errors simultaneously. You have to compromise one of them. The optimal balance depends on the consequence of each error type. In medical testing, the type 2 error is often more serious, okay. You cannot bear type 2 error, like for example missing a disease. Let's say a particular patient has cancer, but in reality we fail to detect it. So that is nothing but a type 2 error. It is actually producing false negative. In criminal cases, in criminal justice, type 1 error is often more serious. Let's say you are a judge, and the person who is targeted is actually a culprit, and you are saying that the person is innocent. So you are simply convicting the innocent, okay. This is a very serious matter. You cannot bear type 1 error in this particular case. So depending on the domain, you can see both these domains are different. Depending on the domain, the alpha and beta value could be adjusted. So I hope the things are very much clear to you all. So these are certain use cases where how the effect would be of type 1 and type 2 error. You can simply pause this particular video and have a look at the actual scenarios in here, and there are some more examples that I have jotted in here. You could simply have a look at it. Now, in summarized way, if I would like to put these points in front of you just to have a quick revision: alpha value is predefined, okay. Your level of significance is chosen by researcher before the test, typically zero point zero 0.05 or zero point zero 0.01. Beta value is not fixed. It depends on the sample size, the effect size, the power size, and the test design. Power of test is nothing but 1 minus beta, which is a new concept which tells the probability of correctly rejecting a false null hypothesis. There is a trade-off always that exists between alpha and beta. Both errors cannot be minimized simultaneously, okay. One has to be compromised. Type 1 error often more serious, okay. So in scientific studies, false positives can mislead research. So this is not always true in case of medical research. In case of medical domain, type 2 error is often more serious, okay. So it depends on scenario. So I hope with this your entire concept of type 1 and type 2 error in statistics and data science is clear to you all. This is very important, and in almost every machine learning algorithm, of classification, this two types of error are always a choice of many to judge your model robustness and accuracy. So that is why this two things, these concepts are very much important and very crucial for your understanding to actually optimize your models, or maybe to optimize whatever research you are doing related to statistics. So I hope entire thing is clear. If you have any doubts, then you can straight away put it in the comment section. I'll be happy to solve it. For more such videos, do like, share and subscribe to my channel. Also hit the bell icon and don't forget to follow me on Instagram. Please join me on Telegram. Thanks for watching. Have a good day ahead.